Hey guys, Cage here with a super quick update before we dive into today's video. I wanted to share that I am doing a free NFT giveaway. I just purchased this NFT.com Genesis key for 0.9 Ethereum, about $2,500, and I'll be giving it away to one lucky member in my Discord. And the benefit is this comes with two profile mints. You can either choose between this one, which I think this one looks the coolest, but we also have this guy right here. So this is a polka dot material skin with a QR code down there, and you can see two profile mints, so this is legit. So the winner will be able to pick between these two, and I will send it over.
Ripple has partnered with several central banks around the world. Some we've announced, some we haven't yet announced.
What's up guys, Kevin Cage here with another cryptocurrency update. Stick around for all of this one because towards the end of this video, I'm going to be sharing a certain price chart, which I rarely share. If you caught last night's video showing examples of the deep ties between Ripple, the XRP ledger, and XRP between the world's largest central banks, specifically the BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and the newest member joining the NDB includes Egypt. And the largest bank in Egypt, the National Bank of Egypt, has joined RippleNet. We can see this good news, and big shout out to XRP Captain for sharing this because this is very, very timely. India will allow commercial use of a central bank digital currency, the Reserve Bank of India, in 2023. One of the largest BRICS nations is saying they are going to operate a central bank digital currency. Every country, let me say this again, every country will follow suit in the future. So the Reserve Bank of India and their former governor was speaking at Ripple's swell, almost like a consultant, and of course they are discussing central bank digital currencies and a RippleNet. We can see the RBI will issue a new digital currency labeled the Digital Rupee by 2023. This will drive financial inclusion in India, and also explores the commercial use cases of CBDCs. We have Goldman Sachs. We have, central banks in countries like Argentina. Why have they started this year a crypto trading desk? Is it because crypto's going to zero? No. I mean, of course it's highly volatile. Man, it's been a crazy ride. And no, it has not always been fun. But do I believe in the future of Web3 and crypto? Absolutely. And this digital currency will be backed by a permissioned blockchain. We have to be realistic. These central banks, they want privacy, so they are going to have permissioned access. Maybe they'll have some features that are permissionless and public and open, but we have to be realistic, guys. When we are talking about the vision of Web3 and sunshine and rainbows, a utopia of decentralized technology, the banks, the world's governments, all these organizations and institutions, we're going to have to meet in the middle. We're going to be living in a spectrum between centralization and decentralization. And I'll tell you one thing, it's still going to be better than what we have today. And Kevin, do central bank digital currencies make crypto redundant and useless? No, not at all. Whether it's fiat or central bank digital currencies, which are really just centralized IOUs and versions pretending to be blockchain, they still need a highly liquid intermediary bridge asset, cough cough XRP, or any other protocol, any ISO token or interoperability protocol like Quants. Now what you'll notice, there's a $40 trillion think tank, and the DMI Symposium is hosting an event in about 10 days. And we can see who's speaking at this $40 trillion think tank. All the world's central banks, Jamaica, Philippines, Japan, the Asian Development Bank, world's biggest companies, including Facebook or Meta. And then, of course, some of the biggest crypto projects that are focused on CBDCs, Ripple and Algorand. Notice James Wallace, VP of Central Bank Engagement and Central Bank Digital Currencies. This is focused on all aspects of CBDCs, stablecoins, of course. They have a future in this market, crypto assets, and the future of money. I know ALGO's price action's been bad too. I mean, it's been dumping. And guess what? They have had nothing but good news. NFT marketplaces, new partnerships, expansion. They are strong projects. And friendly reminder, guys, ODL, on-demand liquidity that specifically uses XRP as a bridge asset between these financial institutions, that is just one use case of XRP. There's dozens of others, whether it's, micropayments and streaming, you name it. So Crypto Eddie sharing this, look at this, $150 trillion in 2022. The value and forecasts in 2022 of cross-border payments, whether it's business to business or C2C, $150 trillion. So for somebody to say, oh man, the circulating supply is so large, do you understand the multi-trillion-dollar problem that we are facing today? Even a fraction of that, or let alone 2% of this valuation, is absolutely insane. Wrap your head around the sheer number that on-demand liquidity could be used for tapping into these payment flows, and this is one use case. Not even considering the Ripple Liquidity Hub, not even considering PolySign and standard custody. World stock market surpassed 100 trillion, real estate several $100 trillion. Of course, derivatives anywhere from 600 trillion to over $1 quadrillion. Meanwhile, crypto under 2 trillion. Next up, Algorand. Right here, you can find the world's first NFT ticket or NF ticket on the ALGO blockchain. Do not miss a minute of the auction right here on travelexchange.com. And remember that LimeWire with the private sale on some of the biggest exchanges. We have Kraken, Crypto.com, and even Arrington backing that LimeWire token sale. And this NFT marketplace is going to be on ALGO. And I remember buying ALGO when it was first listed on Binance.us, and of course, working with central bank digital currencies and integrations with the Marshall Islands. I knew it was legit from the start. And of course, Gary Gensler's always spoken highly of it. Silvio Micali, the founder of Algorand, is an absolute genius who discovered, or founded, I guess you could say, zero knowledge proofs, and will be a fundamental part of the future of blockchain networks. And right now, NFTs, there's silly JPEGs of monkeys online, but it's so much more than that, guys. And of course, arguably even, Bored Ape Yacht Club, they have benefits, like huge benefits, if you can afford it. But NFTs are proof of ownership. So in the future, when you have season tickets to your favorite basketball team, that will be an NFT. Nobody can counterfeit it. Nobody can fake it. It's going to be proven on a decentralized network. So the world's first NFT ticket auction. Very cool, with ALGO. And since the altcoin market is taking a massive hit, I am avoiding microcaps for the time being. Now, if we start retracing, yeah, I'll consider going back because then we can get a nice ride. But the assets that I believe in that will be here, even despite all of this volatility, that I believe will survive and thrive in a multi-trillion-dollar market include Algorand for sure. Why do you think they were side by side with Ripple at the DMI Symposium? Because they're being integrated and there's actual proof of concepts POCs with real central banks. Find projects that you believe in, and even when the price action is down, they are still building. This is a prime example of a legitimate project. And if you really believe in the future of your asset, you should be grateful for any types of discounts. And with that being said, I want to get the show on the road. It's been 84 years. I don't want to just be like a cheerleader for crypto, but I wholeheartedly believe in it. Also, Borderless Capital, so their support for the Algorand ecosystem extends far beyond their initial investments today. And this is just a couple weeks ago. They provided over 20 million Algorand of liquidity across their portfolio companies. You have huge funds having a vested interest in the success of these ecosystems. Pay attention to that. As an investor, I want to make sure in every project I see that it's in their best interest to have a valuable token, a valuable network for security purposes, for liquidity purposes. And of course, that aligns with me, trying to be an investor in this market. We want to make sure that that is aligned. We want to see if there's, any helpful burn mechanisms or anything bootstrapping the ecosystem to guarantee the utility of said token, in this case, ALGO. You don't want just a partnership that actually doesn't need the underlying asset. In this case, for the Algorand blockchain, it's needed for a variety of things. Remember, the crypto market cap is under $2 trillion. The population is almost 8 billion people. Yes, the crypto market cap will flip the human population. Of course, when you consider the future of IoT devices, Internet of Things, that's multiple devices for each person on the planet, plus the metaverse, a $10 trillion market opportunity, arguably way higher. Over to Hedera. Carbon neutrality at layer 1 is the only way to deliver on the promise of a sustainable future built on distributed ledger tech, and this was shared back on Earth Day. Hedera, prime example. We had Shinhan Bank out of Korea looking at their technology. Let alone just look at their partners. We have Google, IBM, Boeing, Tata, some of the world's largest, LG. And yes, they are still in the building phase. We are early in this game. Guys, Ethereum came out well over 5 years ago. Some of these assets have only been around for 2 years. Give them a little time. We have Kevin O'Leary. I always see him dropping HBAR. I see him mentioning AVAX, Polygon, Solana. He goes on to say that he owns stock in Hold, or Immutable Holdings, of course, the company. And of course, I'm sure you're familiar with NFT.com and Jordan Fried. And he believes that Web3 offers us the promise to re-architect the internet. And he's holding this because it's an infrastructure play, like the picks and shovel of the gold rush. And what is his thesis now about crypto and Web3? Because remember, years ago, he was anti-Bitcoin. I'll never hold it. Crypto's a scam. And I get that. That's what a lot of people start as. But now you see him in public interviews and they're awesome. And he goes on to say, these are software plays. These are infrastructure plays. He understands that Avalanche, he understands that Hedera is software and it's really distributed. So let's say you own 1000 HBAR. you are owning a portion of that protocol. And if that protocol is widely adopted, there's tons of transactions being used, and the benefits of a distributed system are providing value to different companies or organizations or people and governments, the price of those individual tokens go up, especially if there's, high volume and overlap of transactions, and that's just how order books work. And you have examples of, assets like Ethereum, the father of DeFi that gave birth to so much in the crypto space, better than Bitcoin in every way, in my opinion. And yes, I don't like gas fees. There's going to be better things than ETH in the future, but we have to be grateful for each, stepping stone. The venture capitalists got their teeth in the ETH, and now they're looking for the next opportunities. And speaking of all the Shark Tank guys, we already touched on Kevin O'Leary. Now we got Mark Cuban dissing the SEC. The SEC wants to use cases they win as precedent. Cases they lose, they want them to be silenced. This changes precedent and prevents investors from learning from them. Why? Gary Gensler, SEC chair. I thought you were bringing fairness and justice to the SEC. You can change this. And again, I know that, I joke around and I point the finger at Gary, but in reality, I think we all know that somebody else is pulling the strings. So we talked about this with Zago yesterday, actually issuing tokens on the XRP ledger. Zago does remind me, and this is based out of South Africa, wink, wink, BRICS nations, but it also reminds me of Zhang. Remember, this happened in December. They will develop a carbon credit solution on the XRP ledger. So they're working hard in hand with the UN development systems right here, focusing on African market infrastructure solutions for carbon markets and to contribute to sustainable development goals. There's a variety of more efficient blockchain networks that exist. And for example, the XRP ledger is 120,000 times more efficient than Bitcoin. Bitcoin can be the store of value, but please let a more green, carbon-friendly type of blockchain network, layer 1, service the payments problem. Next up, guys, we have some great news for VeChain. The ticker is VET or VET, and this can officially be used as payments in over 2 million stores thanks to Alchemy Pay, a recent integration. And also the good news is that VET is now bridged to the BNB chain. So as you can see right here, thanks to their advanced low-carbon blockchain, transactions cost fractions of a cent and are processed within seconds from any VeChain wallet. So posted right on VeChain official. All thanks to Alchemy Pay, allowing VeChain to be used to purchase real goods and services. Also want to touch on this. For anybody that thinks the metaverse is going to be one of those fads, no, this is going to be arguably one of the biggest things that we have ever seen. So Walmart has a company that they backed called Flipkart. This is based out of India, and they are by no means a small company. They have over 400 million users, so nearly 500 million people. And this is an e-commerce company based out of India, and what are they doing? They are expanding into the metaverse, and they're testing Web3. They're going to be setting a standard for commerce inside the metaverse, and they're exploring brand new technologies, leveraging blockchain and real-world use cases to digitally transform businesses. And within the metaverse, guys, there's going to be e-commerce. They're going to be testing all types of non-fungible tokens, maybe even in the gaming space in the future for in-game items. And also virtual, immersive storefronts, and play-to-earn games. Gaming is going to be huge. And if you guys have not seen the news coming from Liquid Marketplace, we have an NFT opportunity. Their first ever Grandmaster exclusive Liquid Marketplace NFTs have officially been revealed. So at liquidmarketplace.io, they are still in beta, and they already had an amazingly successful launch where you can co-own some of the world's most valuable high-end collectibles, starting off with trading cards. And let me tell you, they are going to be expanding into the tokenization of everything. As they've said in some recent live streams, and as I'm sure some of you have read in, Yahoo Finance and Business Wire, they are going to be adding some very high-end collectibles. And if you're a collector, whether it's fine art, trading cards, antique items, anything that you feel is highly valuable and there may be a community that would like to co-own it, this is a huge opportunity. So right here we have this first ever Grandmaster LMP NFT. Each month, the top 3 users on Liquid Marketplace's platform with the most XP or experience points will be airdropped their very own LMP NFT. So these Grandmasters will stand out in the Liquid Marketplace community with these exclusive NFTs and prestigious badges. And you can start earning your XP today. And for anybody that is yet to read the API 3 core technical report that just came out for April, their solution with Airnode to decentralize web APIs, solving the Oracle problem truly, backed by some of the world's largest crypto companies, including Digital Currency Group, Pantera Capital, Amergo. already has official Airdnode integrations to over 12 different blockchain networks, including Moonriver, Polygon, Moonbeam, Ethereum, Avalanche, BNB, Phantom, and more. Now, what do you think happens to an asset that one is legitimate and also has growing levels of adoption? Remember Chainlink. Remember it was down in this range? It did not create a new high for over 530 days. And yes, only the most patient actually got in and truly held Chainlink when it was like 20 cents or even under $1. Today, you look like a genius, but keep in mind, this is back in 2017 and 2018. So nearly 4 years later to see a 300x return. So even from this low all the way to the all-time high of over $50, that is over a 360x, meaning $1,000 turns into 360K. And even with the Fibonacci retracement from this high to the low, drag it over. And did we reach any of these higher fib levels from the high to the low? As we erupted from the 236 Fibonacci retracement. Double top at the 3618, came back down and went all the way to a full 34 extension. As I've shown, dozens of assets have done this in a multi-year time frame. Chainlink from its previous all-time high in January of 2018 dropped as far as almost 90%, 88% before finally erupting. This is what we've learned during cryptocurrency bear markets. What happens? Multiple cups explode, another cup explode, another cup explode, and now we're turning over. But we've done a 300x. And no, I did not buy Chainlink at $50. I'm focused on other assets. And yes, I believe Chainlink has a healthy future, but it already did a 100x in the past almost 4 years. Let it cool off a bit. This is nothing. In the scheme of things, we can go from the all-time low, and yeah, this asset is still up almost 100x, over 70x. But anyone that bought the exact top, of course, they're probably pissed and they're going to call it a scam. I stick to my conviction and I'm focused on API 3 at these price levels. Why? Well, as we can see, Chainlink from this high was in that range over 500 days. How long have we been for API 3? Because it's really just 1 year old now. We can see we've almost hit the 400-day mark. Is there anything out of the ordinary? No, not necessarily. Looking at some fib levels, whether you see $25, $30, $40, which is very typical for assets that survive for several years, and then of course even beyond. I mean, if it did what Quant did or a variety of assets going right to the 34, that's a $300 API 3. And I was in QNT at $3 to $5. In Chainlink, I actually didn't buy until it was on Coinbase around $1.60, so I missed all this, but I still got it in this zone. And it's not like I rode it to the top. I did sell it early and I went into some other assets. I think I probably went into like Algorand at the time. So I still did okay. But I just want you to focus on that. For assets that are 1 or 2 years old, give them some time. Now let's zoom into this next part over here when we crashed in 2019. And I just want to show you the structure and some of the similarities we can see per the fib levels. So with this high to the low, drag it over. And I mean, of course, we still reach these higher levels all the way to the 4.236, wick to the 4.236, came back down, back test on the 2, went all the way to the 13 fib extension. That is massive. And even from the 236, if you simply DCA around that zone, you're looking at over a 2000x. So now I'm looking at API 3, and as I shared in the past, I posted this in January and I explained my 101 strategy for my long-term holds. This is not my trading position. As I share, 25% of my portfolio is always fiat or USDC or something like that, like a stable coin. The other percentage is my trading bag. And then my other last percentage, like 50%, sometimes 25%, is allocated for long-term holds. Now, for my long-term holds, I only buy, and I said this before we even went back up to $9. I say I only am buying or considering buying API 3 when we're below the 236. I do not want to buy it when it's at $5 or $9 and ruin my DCA. I want the maximum ROI potential. So this is me posting it January 28th on Twitter. You guys can type this in and save this if you'd like, but I just want to emphasize 236 key level. Historically, seeing assets that survive for several years, worst case for me, in my opinion, not financial advice, they reach, $25, $40, whether it's the 2618 or 4.236, maybe even beyond. So January 28th, where was January 28th? Right. January 28th was right there. And what happened quickly after that date? We rallied from this low all the way up to $9, almost a 200% move or a 3x return. Did I buy at $5? Nope. Did I buy at $9? Nope. I'm only buying more if it's below the 236. And now let me show you this hopium look with Chainlink, and I'm truly curious if something like this could play out. So on the right-hand side, we have Chainlink on the daily, API 3 on the daily. Now, again, just another example link, swing high, swing low, went all the way up to a 4.236. I mean, arguably significantly higher to a full 13 fib, which is just another part of the ratio of the Fibonacci, not retracement, the Fibonacci ratio. Now, what's crazy about this is let's mark this up. If you simply stuck to this thesis and only bought below the 236, you would be sitting pretty, as I shared, like over 2,000%. And of course, I'm not just waiting for one target to sell. I want to stagger my sells and de-risk. So if it hits, the 1618, sell a quarter. Sell a quarter here, sell a quarter here, hold a portion for life. Everybody that does this, to me, I think it's one of the smartest strategies. Now, how crazy would this be? So I just marked the chart up to show you some of the patterns I'm looking for. So you can see this part of API 3 when it was new and founded, coming out of the ICO. You can see this part of Chainlink. Massive rally. Then it comes into this huge, distribution, redistribution, and then back in accumulation. We're back in accumulation. You have some version of a double bottom. I'm just saying double bottom. I know it's not at the same level. And look at the similarities. What's interesting is from the 236, we rally up, challenge the all-time high around the 786. From here, below the 236, we rally up and challenge. So it's the same thing. This fooled me. It was a sucker's rally. It got me. Just like Chainlink was before the March 2020 crash. And the crazy thing is Mr. Level Up for several months, and I didn't even believe in this possibility. He showed me some gaps down here that could potentially get filled. So this is not me saying sell anything. No, what I'm doing is I have my bag staked. I have some cash on the side. If I see some type of black swan event like we saw in March 2020, then I'll consider buying. But now what's interesting as well, because then I could argue now that's not going to happen, but you see this double top right here, we crash. You see a double top, 2 wicks. And from this high, how hard did we crash? From this wick, okay, this very top, all the way to the bottom, about 69, 70%. Well, it's a very, very big drop down here for Chainlink, but I think we've dropped enough for API 3 thus far. Look at this. From that wick, we're basically that was 69, we're at 68.5%. So do we really have that much lower, or am I just trying to be greedy? I'm just trying to see it with an open mind, guys, and obviously get rid of my bullish goggles so that I can see some of the bearish perspective. But nonetheless, this is super interesting for me. And this is exactly what I did with QNT. Stubborn, not buying it at those high levels. I mean, of course, it still would have worked out if you bought it at 15 or 50, but I just want the maximum amount of ROI. And then after these huge capitulation phases, I'm telling you, if we go lower with a variety of assets, everybody's going to call it quits, leave crypto. This is when I am FOMOing into the market. What usually happens after these crashes? Well, I mean, in this case, you could see, 1,000% pump right up to the 4.236, arguably way higher, so like 2,000%. And if not, still a couple 100% retracement to multiply my money and make up for any drawdown. And I've been trying to get creative, high to the low, and obviously using an inverse fib, the negative fib level hits it right there. That's how I kind of try to catch a falling knife. No, I did not predict this. I realized it after the fact, but nonetheless, this is what I do with assets like Glimmer as well. And then looking at the symmetrical triangle, I made it wider to try to account for, these crazy wicks. We have candle bodies and wicks right there, another wick. So this is valid. We have here, multiple points of touching, broke through, but came back down, there. So is this going to be a massive symmetrical triangle? And guess what, guys? The height of this symmetrical triangle is about 600%. So from the apex, historically, you would measure 600% from that point and go up. What does that take you to? $20 to $30. So that's just textbook TA. But alright guys, that's enough out of me. I highly recommend checking out this thread if you have time. And remember that you can find all my crypto resources in the YouTube video description along with my link tree right on Twitter. Have a great night, guys.